Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordan Comstock and Mr. Ben Tuine. This podcast is sponsored by BoomCloud Dental Membership Software, www.boomcloudapps.com, and Veritas Dental Resources, www.veritasdentalresources.com. Enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast. I am your host today, Jordan Comstock, and today it's just me today, solo, hanging out here at the BoomCloud offices here in Utah, watching the snow melt away. So it's a good day because I hate snow. But today I wanted to make a quick episode for all of our listeners out there. Because I've had my head down here at BoomCloud for the last few months, working on various things, from improving our software with our development team to creating what I'm really excited about, creating the BoomCloud University, which is actually a cool little online course about creating and growing a dental membership program. Everything, from the basics of membership program, the concept and everything, to marketing, sales, management, legal aspects, as well as finances. So over the past few months, I started recording this course at the beginning of the year, and we've just barely completed it and have more work to bring to the table. But right now we launched it, and we have 6 modules that are completely free. I'm not charging anybody for these. I just want to be a resource for the industry because I'm a big believer in giving value to practices and to our people in the industry, right? So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about the concept of a dental membership program and what we've created in the BoomCloud University, which you can find at boomcloudapps.com/university. But I'm going to walk through all the sections, and we're going to talk. I'm going to give some tips, what I'm seeing out here. The reason why I created the BoomCloud University, because I noticed that a lot of practices lately, they just need better training in regards to the concept of a membership program. Because I've noticed that maybe an office manager hears our podcast or listens to me speak somewhere and gets really excited about creating a dental membership program, but then the practice owner or the dentist doesn't fully understand what it is, right? So we've created this course to help with that, right? To help educate your team members, right? Maybe vice versa, right? The dentist, you may be a dentist listening to the show or listening to me speak somewhere or reading one of my articles, and you may get really excited, but then your team is not on the same page, right? You may briefly tell it to them, but I've noticed that education and training is critical, and I believe in creating education to help both the industry and to help our users at BoomCloud as well, right? I wanted to be able to be a resource there for everybody. So again, it's a free resource that I've decided to give out to the industry. But let's go ahead and we're going to talk about the basics of the membership program, which is the first section of the BoomCloud University. And the basics, it's straightforward. I talk about what exactly a membership program is. If you're new to the concept, it is basically an Amazon Prime style type membership program, but built for your dental practice, where patients pay a monthly or yearly fee to get access to certain benefits and discounts that you, the dental practice, create, right? And it allows you to reduce dependence on PPOs and attract an uninsured patient base, right? So we talk about what a membership program is. We talk about how to create a plan. I give the best tips and tricks when it comes to pricing your dental membership program, as well as thinking about benefits for your membership program. I've seen it range from, if you're doing a monthly plan, first of all, I recommend doing in both a monthly and a yearly plan. Here's why. Monthly plans have a lower barrier to entry, meaning you can probably sign up more patients to the program. Whereas yearly, if they're a large family, right, it's a little bit harder to get them through the price barrier. So I believe in having both. Monthly recurring revenue, believe it or not, is more valuable for a business because the nature of business expenses for the practice, they typically happen every month. So if you can generate a monthly cash flow cycle, it's going to be more valuable to you. Obviously, if you can collect the yearly fee up front, that's going to be valuable, but you got to know how to budget it and how to use it wisely throughout the year. So that's why I like offering both yearly and monthly membership programs. So I've seen pricing for monthly anywhere from $20 a month all the way up to $40 a month. If you're doing perio maintenance, I've seen that be $50 a month or more. But that is pretty typical. Depending on where you are, what location you're at in the United States, you may be charging more or less, right? Based off of your demographics and what people are paying for services in your area. And your expenses, of course. So that's what it looks like for monthly plans. Yearly plans, I've seen pricing from anywhere from $250 a year up to $500, which is really high end. A lot of practices in areas where the cost of living is higher. That's where we typically see that. But we also see, I've also seen practices just offering a monthly fee or a yearly fee, and get just straight up discounts. They don't include like exams and cleanings. It's just a straight discount. Now you can't do that in every state. There's a few states you can't do that in. And again, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know exactly the regulations for the discount only plans. But I've seen that work quite well in some states with some practices. So keep that in mind, that the sky's the limit, right? With creating membership programs, you can be really creative with it, or you can be really traditional with it, which both of them work. So I recommend offering your monthly and yearly plans, and then just being creative with your benefits that you offer to your patients. So speaking of benefits, one of our sections or chapters in section 1, which is the basics, we do talk about the benefits of a dental membership program for your practice, the patients, and also your team. So a good example of that is, for your practice, it's pretty simple and straightforward. It's going to help you generate predictable recurring revenue. It also helps you with revenue expansion, because we've seen the data that we've collected. Just recently, we did a podcast a couple episodes ago with Kevin Rawson, and we found that patients who are members spend 2 to 3.5 times more than non-members. So that's called revenue expansion. So that's a huge benefit for your practice, especially, if you're a fee-for-service practice looking into doing a dental membership program, but also want to expand your revenue. That the data says, 2 to 3.5 times you're going to generate more revenue from members versus non-members. So that's a huge benefit. The patient side, we see patients that become more loyal, right, which is good for them, because when they're with a practice longer, you can help them more efficiently and effectively. And then we've also seen patients end up getting the treatment that they actually need versus what insurance will pay for, which is a giant benefit for patients. They're not capped. They don't have to deal with the hassles and the red tape of dental insurance. So some good benefits there for the practice and the patient, and also the team, right? Your team that's offering the membership program, there's going to be less red tape with dental insurance. When you generate more predictable recurring revenue, their jobs become more stable, which is also a massive benefit, right? The next chapter we talk about in the basic section, we talk about what is BoomCloud, right? Not a lot of people are learning what BoomCloud is, so we just bake that into the course, so you can learn, and we see some examples of what BoomCloud is and what it does for your practice. We also talk about the 8 reasons to generate predictable recurring revenue. I think predictable recurring revenue is probably one of the greatest business benefits when creating a dental membership program. And it helps you smooth out demand. It helps you create a predictable revenue cash flow cycle, which is extremely important. I used to manage my dad's dental lab, and our cash flow followed the dental industry, right? And based off of restorative care. And it was feast and famine most of the time, right? Which made cash flow very hard. So I know what it's like to manage a business when cash flow isn't consistent, right? And keep in mind that when you work with dental insurance, they mess with your cash flow, right? Because you have to submit claims, and then you got to wait to get paid out by them, and sometimes that takes time. So by creating a predictable recurring revenue, you're improving your cash flow cycle, as well as increasing the value of your business, because the recurring revenue is like the holy grail in any business, right? If you can generate predictable recurring revenue, you're doing well for your business. We also talk about the growth mindset framework, and in my opinion, and what I've seen in the industry when it comes to creating and growing a membership program, the successful practices think of their membership program in 4 ways, and I explained this in the video. That is a patient loyalty system, a patient attraction system, a case acceptance system, and a predictable recurring revenue and revenue expansion system. So those are some of the 4 topics that are in the growth mindset. If you're not thinking about your membership, if you're not thinking, about those 4 topics when it comes to growing your membership program, then it's probably going to be a little bit harder to grow it, right? Using it as an attraction tool or a marketing tool is essential. Using it to help increase case acceptance and revenue expansion, as well as generating predictable recurring revenue, and having a loyalty system in your practice. That is very important in any business. If you don't have some type of loyalty system, well, then your business may suffer high attrition, right? Which makes cash flow even worse. So keep that in mind. And then, that's everything we talk about in the membership basics section. And these videos, they're custom-made videos. At the beginning of the year, I walked into my office, and we had an empty office space in our building here, and I'm like, guys, we got to do something with this office, right? So I told my team, I'm like, let's create a video studio out of this office, and let's repaint it and make it a cool set, and start recording the BoomCloud University and other video tips, in regards to dental membership programs. So that's what we did, right? So that's the basic section. I have a marketing section. We talk about the best practices of marketing that we've seen in regards to growing a dental membership program, from direct mail marketing to PR and attracting small businesses to sign up for your dental membership program. We talk about these topics, which I think is very important to understand what's working out there. We also talk about, in the marketing section, marketing basics, right? What you need to know. And if you haven't been trained on marketing, I believe as an owner of a business, whether you're a practice or a software company like mine, or a dental lab, or anything really, any business, I believe it's very important to understand how to generate leads and how to market your services. The practice owner needs to know that. Doesn't mean they have to do it. They need to know what works, right? So I talk about, understand your demographics, how to generate some early buzz before you launch your membership program, which is doing surveys and customer research, and just talking to your patients about a dental membership program. It really boils down to that. Communicate to your patients that you're thinking about offering one, or if you've launched one, talk to them about it, right? So speaking of talking, we have the sales section, which that's all one-to-one talking tips. We have verbal tips, a course that we've done there. I recorded that with Genevieve Poppy. Many of you have heard her on our podcast multiple times, and she's actually come, and we've done some events together, hosted them with Genevieve. She's awesome. I also brought Leslie from Adventure Dental, and she educates all practices on how to use BoomCloud with their practice management software, whether it's Dentrix or EagleSoft, and the concepts there, and how she's succeeded with her practice here in Utah. And then we also talk about management, right? We talked about tips about creating systems. I'm big in creating systems, obviously, because I created BoomCloud, which is basically a system to help practices create, organize, and automate dental membership programs. We talk about those systems, right? You have to have a system to reach out and market your membership program. You have to have a system to educate your team about that, which you can use the BoomCloud University to help them get educated on the concept of a membership program. We also have a legal section, because we get lots of questions that here at BoomCloud, we get lots of legal questions. Again, I am not an attorney, but lots of people ask me these legal questions. So I actually brought an attorney on that is a good friend of mine. His name is JD Kessler. He's been on a couple episodes on the podcast here, and he actually helps answer questions about what legal strategies that you need to think about when it comes to setting up and launching a dental membership program, which I think are extremely helpful. You got to have in most states, and it may vary in each state, but you got to have some sort of an agreement. Most of the time, it's called a medical retainer agreement. We have some templates at BoomCloud that we give our users. Obviously, I recommend that you either talk with JD Kessler or your attorney, but they can help you get a good solid legal strategy together, because I believe that's important. Having some legal counsel, right? It's not recommended, but it's important. But we do talk about tips there. JD's fantastic. He came and sat down a long time with me, and we answered questions and talked about what a practice needs to think about when it comes to offering a dental membership program on a legal standpoint. And then we have a finance section which talks about accounting tips, and we teach the importance of tracking the metrics of a membership program, right? And I kind of want to talk about that now, because a lot of people have created their own dental membership programs, but they don't keep track of the metrics. And what you measure, you grow or you improve. I'm a huge believer in that. In fact, I see that every day here at BoomCloud with practices that are tracking their metrics with our dashboard in BoomCloud, and ourselves here as a company. We track metrics, and we're constantly trying to improve, because we understand where we stand, on a numbers standpoint. So in the finance section, we have a chapter that's called Membership Basics and KPIs, which stands for Key Performance Indicators. And I am a huge believer in this. I think it's very important. When you create a dental membership program, you're basically you're creating a new business model in the practice, which is a good thing. But you also have to understand that you're creating a new business model, because a membership program, traditionally practice owners, business people, they look at the profit and loss statement, which is a very extremely important report to look at in your business. But when you have a dental membership program, you can't just look at a profit and loss statement. You've got more metrics to go off of than profit and loss, right? So I recommend understanding the monthly recurring revenue in your practice from your membership program. Monthly and yearly recurring revenue, that is. When you understand that, you understand if your membership program is working or not. You also understand the exact amount of revenue that's coming in from this business strategy, which is very important, so you can understand the value of the membership program. Because if you are generating, well, for example, I spoke to an office the other day that's generating $30,000 a month in just membership fees every month, and they understand the value of that recurring revenue, right? And how much money they can spend on marketing to keep generating that more and more revenue, and the tools and what it costs them to run their program. They know those expenses, but then they also see, the revenue. So like their expenses are only, I think with marketing, maybe a couple grand a month marketing, and they use BoomCloud. And that's $300 a month right now. It's so with marketing and BoomCloud, it's only, a couple grand a month for marketing primarily. And they're generating $30,000 a month, and they're consistently adding 30 to 50 patients a month to their membership program. So think about that. If you can grow a membership program like that, your recurring revenue will continue to skyrocket, and you're tracking that, so you know that you're doing well. So I believe that's a very important metric to understand. You also need to understand the member churn rate or cancellation rate, because if your cancellation rate is higher than your growth rate, well, then you're not sitting pretty, right? You're going to be losing patients left and right, and revenue as well. Another metric that you need to track is what I call lifetime value, or membership patient lifetime value, right? And it's basically the value of a member. You know, the longer they're with you, the more value they bring to the table, because they're paying you month after month or year after year. So if you can keep them for years and years, then that patient becomes more valuable than a non-member, right? Because there's revenue monthly or yearly attached to that patient. So it's very important to track that, because you know, if you're thinking about just looking at the profit and loss statement, you may be thinking, well, I may lose money if I discount these prices. But in reality, you need to look at the monthly recurring revenue, the cancellation rate, and the lifetime value of a member patient, right? It's also important to keep track of your active patients in your membership program. If you are not looking at these things, then you're probably not growing. You're probably plateaued or stagnated, right? It's also important to look at failed or declined charges. If you're charging monthly and yearly, a good way to avoid failed and declined charges is to set up ACH payments, which you can do that through BoomCloud. And that's basically direct payments from the bank account. You're not using credit cards or debit cards with expiration dates and issues. You're directly pulling from the bank account. So keep that in mind. That's a wonderful strategy. Then the last thing that I think every practice should monitor is the new member patients that sign up each month. If you sign up 10, 30, 40, 50, whatever that number is, you need to keep track of that, because it will show you the growth rate of your membership program after you get all those. But basically, I go through everything in the BoomCloud University in regards to creating and growing your dental membership program. So I'd love it if you guys can come and check out my free course. You can go to boomcloudapps.com/university. You can also just go to boomcloudapps.com, which is boomcloudapps.com, and you'll see the university right there on the menu of our website. Go check it out. I've recorded every video. It's me. I obviously have guests that come in and record with me. We're going to be continuing to add more videos to this, to add more value to both our website and to visitors that are checking us out. We want to be a resource for you. Also for our customers, we want to be a resource for you. So you can check that out. It's actually baked into the app. You can see all of the courses of the BoomCloud University inside of the BoomCloud application. But check it out, boomcloudapps.com/university. I've been very generous with my contact information in the university. So if you have questions or want to see, more videos, or you have a question that we didn't cover, email me at jordan@boomcloudapps.com. My name is spelled Jordon because my parents cursed me because they wanted to spell my name, a normal name, with a weird spelling. But it's Jordan, Jordon, at BoomCloudApps, and that's apps.com. You can go ahead and send me an email. Tell me what you think about the course, and ask me any questions. I'm happy to be a resource for you in your practice. So I just wanted to do that quick message for you there today and give you some quick tips of what I'm seeing out there in regards to dental membership programs in the industry. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Rock and roll.